Hi, this is Erin from Blossy Bay. Welcome to my channel. My voice sounds a little bit funny, I'm sorry. I have had a few weeks off with, I had Influenza A and I'm still not very well, but I have missed sharing videos with you so much, so I'm so excited to bring this one to you. So I'm going to unpack and test out some new mica powders that I purchased from a company called Solid Solutions. I've been looking for some new colours and I thought I would give these ones a try. And I've decided to show you both the unboxing and also I'm going to make just some little samples so that I've got some colour swatches as well, just to get a really good feel for what the powders look like and how they work. And yeah, and I get to make a few extra little pieces on the way. I've had a parcel arrived from a company in Australia called Solid Solutions, and I've used their silicone before, silicone rubber kits, and I'd noticed that they had some mica powders that looked really nice, so I thought I would try and test them out. So I bought these and I'm excited to see them. Okay, so this is what the packaging looks like. So Solid Solutions Pearl Pigments, 20 grams of mica powder. And this one is opal white. That is going to get a lot of views. I just know. Sit them down. And then I've got this one here, which is Iridescent Berry. And that looks absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait to try that one. And, oh, that's pretty. Dusty Rose. Loving that. And then Raspberry Rush. So I will be very interested to see how raspberry that is, because it's always nice to have a reddish colour. Now this one is Duo Red Blue. So I'm assuming that this one is one of the powders that, you know, throws off the different colours, or I'm guessing anyway. Okay, now we've got Royal Gold, very fancy and pretty. And Snow White, so that's interesting. So we've got Snow White and Opal. Did I say opal before, or pearl? That's opal white. Looking forward to seeing the difference in those. Okay, what's next? Glacier. So 3 levels of whiteness. Oh my goodness, I spoke too soon. Oh no, Interference Blue. So that will be interesting to use. Oh gosh, that's pretty. Reflective Rust. Okay. I like the look of that. Now, oh, that's a pretty green. Evergreen. Okay. Loving that. Lagoon Blue. Lovely blue. Look how shimmery that is. Whoops. And then we've got Plum. My goodness, that is a dark plum. Look, that's almost looking black there. Wow, can't wait to see what that one's like. And then I've got Sin Star Purple. I wonder what Sin Star Purple, I might have to look that up and see if it's a type of a colour or something. And, oh, another whitey sort of a coloured one. Bright Luster Satin. Okay. And then we've got Sin Star Gold. Now there's that Sin Star again. So maybe it does refer to a type of colouring. Oh gosh, I'm loving that one. Coastal Breeze. What have we got next? Oh gosh. Cobalt Dream. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Cobalt Crush. So the difference between a dream and a crush is that crush is a bit darker. So that's the crush and that's the dream. And then we've got Flash Blue. Goodness. Then Metallic Silver. Okay. Oops. Lilac. Gosh, that's so pretty. Lilac. And lucky last. This one is Blush. Oh, fantastic. Now, I don't think, well, I'm sure it's not I don't think this is the whole series, because I think when I bought them, some of them were out of stock. But I'll make sure that I put a link in the description box, of course, to these, and also the price. And now I've got to think up a project where I can test these all out, because this is so exciting. 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 18, 20. I've got 23 colours. I'll have to come up with a project for that. Right, let's think. I think what I need to do is I need to create a sample of each of the colours. So I've worked out I've got 9 heart moulds and I've got 3 of those. So I've separated the colours into sort of little groups, and I'm going to make up a heart of each, and I'm going to use this amazing little measuring spoon that I've got, and it has the quirkiest, well, they're not quirky because they're real, but I think they're quite fun, measuring gradients. We're all familiar with teaspoons and even half a teaspoon, but these go down from a quarter of a teaspoon all the way down to 1/64th of a teaspoon. And they say a tad is quarter of a teaspoon. I'll just have a tad of that. A dash, which is what I'm using today, is 1/8. I'll just add in a dash of this. A pinch is 1/16th of a teaspoon. Often we say we'll pop in a pinch of salt. A smidgen, 1/32, I don't know how to say that properly, of a teaspoon. And so you'd say, I'm just going to pop in a smidge of this, and then a drop, 1/64th of a teaspoon. So They are very cute names, and I think what happened was in the last probably decade or two, some companies started producing these, and that, you know, I think to a large extent they're probably made up, but there you go. That's what I'm using today. So I've decided to measure out the resin into teeny little batches, and then I'm going to add in each of the colours in that same measurement, so I've got exactly the same quantity in each one. And the resin I'm measuring out in approximately, I think, between 12 and 15 grams, because I know that fills that heart up really well. And then I'm just going to mix them together and pour them in. And so I'm going to forward quite quickly through all of this because it is just the same procedure for each one. And the little dot of resin that I'm popping on each of the lids will just be helpful when I've got them stored in a storage container, so I can quite quickly and easily see which is which. So the resin that I'm using today is River Art Resin's Deep Pour. It's an epoxy resin 2:1 ratio, and I love this resin so much because it is beautifully bubble free. It has a really nice long working time, and it's quite fluid when I'm popping it into things, so you get that feeling of being able to work with it a bit longer. And I have had projects when I have been working with lots of different colours where I've just ran out of time. I wonder if that's happened to you. You set all these little pots up and you're like, yeah, I can do this, and then all of a sudden everything starts heating up. Whereas I know with this resin that I get that really good, I usually get around about a 60-minute working time, which is more than enough. And as I'm going with each of these, I am showing you on the screen the colour that comes from the company. And I will also, as we are demoulding them, put the colours up as well. And I'll go through the colours and my feedback on them in more detail then. As I mentioned, I've been very unwell, and just as I've been recovering, one good thing is I've been able to snuggle on the sofa with Tess and Milo and watch a few videos. Oh, I feel terrible because I was watching one from the lovely Michelle from Glitz and Glitter the other day, and she was going to be doing similar to myself with testing out some new pigments, and she said, oh, I don't want to do the boring old sort of pocket hearts. And I was like, oh no, that's what I've done. I guess to me they're not boring because I will turn them all into magnets, and if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I end up often donating these little heart magnets to either my school for fundraising or other charities and groups, and I know that they can make people very happy. It was just funny watching that though. I was like, oh, okay, that's what I'm doing. But I do also go on and use some in a couple of moulds as well. So my first reaction to using these is that they are very highly pigmented. So as I mentioned, this is a little 1/8 of a teaspoon, a dash, and it is a teeny tiny little amount of resin, and these are coming up very, very pigmented. Now on the backs of some of these you can see a sort of a funny little heart-shaped, it's almost like a little echo in the middle, and that is just the resin degassing, and the resin would be pulling away from the edges towards the centre and the bubbles coming with it. And so I'm able to just give a very light spray of isopropyl alcohol, and that will remove those little bubbles for me. But as I said, this resin I love because it is very low in bubbles, and I don't think I've ever put it through a vacuum chamber, not this particular one. Now, this is my gorgeous Lotus Flower Coaster mould, and I love this one because it has the little divided sections, which is perfect for showcasing different colours. And I'm just emptying in there the extra little pieces from these last few hearts, not doing it in any particular order or for any particular reason, but just for something that's really pretty to do. And again, I'll be giving this a spritz of isopropyl alcohol, and of course I will need to do a backing coat on this one as well, because I'm only filling in these very tiny divided areas, and then it will need resin all over the top. And the next little mould that I'm going to use is a little seashell mould that you will have seen in a previous video. And this one I'm just literally dripping in all sorts of different bits and pieces and making sure I'm getting a little bit on all of the sides and the centre parts, and giving it a little spritz. I'm going to add in just a little bit of slightly tinted resin, and then I'm going to top it off with a slightly darker colour. So that one is looking very pretty. And then I'm going to use this little elephant family mould, and it is a little bit difficult to see at the moment, it's off screen, I'm sorry about that, but I'm just putting little dots and dashes of colour, and it all sort of blends in the end anyway, but yeah, just doing that little family of 4 elephants with the heart in the middle. Okay, and now it is time to demould these pieces. And here we go. So this first one is the metallic silver. Now, to me, it's more of a grey, but it's beautiful. Next we have Snow White, which is just a beautiful glistening white. And then we've got Glacier. Now, these do look quite similar to me, and also Bright Luster Satin, and then we've got the Opal White, but I'm sure each of them have got their own unique reasons to use them. Sin Star Gold, very pretty, and then lastly we have the Royal Gold, and that's a very rich gold colour. And then the next two were just made with the leftovers from that first batch. So we'll move on to the next batch. I'll get these put up into the corner to make some room. And the first one that we're going to demould here is the Interference Blue. And then we have Cobalt Dream, which is a very pretty blue. And this is Evergreen, which is just stunning. Very beautiful green. Then we've got Cobalt Crush, and Cobalt Crush is a little bit darker than the Cobalt Dream. Then we've got this beautiful Lagoon Blue, which is actually a bluish green, and then the Flash Blue, which is a sort of a lighter blue. Then we've got Coastal Breeze, and again that's sort of a bluey green. And then we've got just 2 pieces made up from the leftovers from that tray. And so then our last tray, these are the more pinky purpley colours. So the first one, Iridescent Berry, and oh my goodness, that is definitely very very me. Dusty Rose, again these colours are just beautiful, and Raspberry Rush, look how intense they are. They are just gorgeous. This is the Lilac, and I think I'd like to also have a little play with these colours when I don't use as much pigment in the resin to see what they look like as well. This is the plum. This is so dark and so luscious. It is just beautiful. Then the next one is the blush, and again I just think that's so pretty. And then we've got reflective rust, so that it's almost a chrome like finish. It's incredible. Then we've got the duo red blue, which throws a little bit of the red and the blue. And then lastly, we've got the Sinstar purple, which is just a glorious deep purple. Okay, time to have a look at our little seashell trinket dish, and it's looking gorgeous. All those different sort of pinks and plums and purples have combined beautifully. And here's our little elephant family, looking very sweet. And I'm so happy with how these turned out as well. They look so cute holding up the little heart between them all. I just love that. Perfect. These are just some tiny little flowers with the last few drips that I had. And gosh, these are pretty. I'm going to love turning these into little fridge magnets. They've been really popular when I've gifted them to people. They love them. And then lastly, we have our gorgeous Lotus Flower Coaster Mould. And I'm so excited to see how this one turned out. So if you recall, the last group of the mica powders I was testing have all contributed to this one. And then I just filled in the back after they'd cured. And oh my God, I almost can't believe this. It is so pretty. It is so intensely sparkling and gorgeous. Look how dark that plum is down on those bottom two leaves there. I love it. So because I want to be able to gift these magnets to different people and groups and organisations, I'm going to go ahead and decorate them, and I'm using UV DTF stickers, and these are ones that I've designed myself and had printed, and I'll put the link with all that information in the description box below. But basically I use a company where I download different designs, usually from Creative Fabrica, and then I arrange them however I want on these sheets. These are called gang sheets. And then I cut them into smaller sections so they're easier to handle. So these are very hard wearing stickers, and I don't normally UV resin over the top or put an epoxy resin coat over the top. If they're going to be just something like fridge magnets, just sitting on the fridge, they're not going to be being touched all the time. I feel quite secure knowing that these are going to adhere really well. They've got very strong adhesive. So you can see here, all I'm doing is I've cut out one of the pieces that I like, and I'm peeling off the back. And it is clear film front and back. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull off the clear backing, and then I'm going to press it down quite firmly onto the surface I want it to be applied to, and then I'm going to make sure there's no bubbles or anything like that, just using usually using the pad of my thumb, but you can use like a paddle pop stick or something like that. And then I'm going to just find the edge of the sticker and then peel that back, and you are left with a gorgeous image on the magnet. And I've got a few different little collections I'm going to do with this one. I've got some rescue dog ones, I've got some mermaids. Up the top right there, I've got the cutest little Highland cows and some beautiful fairies. So I've got a couple of ideas in mind for what I can do with these. So now I'm going to use some B7000 glue. You can use super glue as well. And I'm using some fairly strong craft magnets. These are ones that I purchased from Bunnings. And I'm just going through applying a little dab of glue onto the back of each and then sticking down the magnet. And then I'll usually set these aside to allow the glue to fully cure for a couple of hours. You do have to be careful though. Sorry, it's making me smile, think about it. When you're doing this, depending on how strong the magnets are and how close the items are, the magnets that you've done can pull at the next magnet. So you will actually see me going back and replacing some of these magnets. So here's the little elephant family, and I'm going to choose just a really small couple of little embellishments to put on out of the UVD TF stickers, and just to sort of add a little bit to them. So I just found this little floral pattern, and I'm just going to pop little bits on each one and then trim them accordingly. So my first impressions of these beautiful mica powders from Solid Solutions are that they are really easy to work with. They are heavily pigmented and they do come in quite a good range of colours. So I'm excited about what I might be able to make in the future with them. I'm also very excited to see how these came out. The little pocket hugs don't have to be boring. They can become these beautiful magnets and hopefully sit on a fridge and make someone's day. So I've got some little bundles there to gift to different groups. Let me know which of the pigment colours you liked or which of the fridge magnets was your favourite in the comments below. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.